tables. The name is basic pivot table. It's there in our drive. I will show that. Yeah, see here, basic pivot table. We are done with the functions that's there in our syllabus. Okay, just one or two functions. I guess only one more is left out, which is related to pivot table only. Get pivot data that I'll show you here. But as in the functions that are like whether your text functions, date functions, aggregate, statistical, subtotal, logical functions, every of them we have really done that. Okay. Now, what is a pivot table? Now, pivot table is nothing but a, oh, I shouldn't say it nothing. Okay, it is a data summarization tool. Why it is called a summarization tool? As in it's, you have a large data set in front of you. Okay, you might tell me one that you have been seeing as very small ones. I understand that. But say if you have some million rows given to you, will it be easier for you all to just in a few seconds to just analyze and give out what was the sales per month or maybe per cloth item? Here I'm just giving the example that's in front of us. Maybe month wise, what is the sales value? Can you really tell that within few button clicks or maybe with just by seeing the data? We have million rows. Is it easier for you all to say do that?
No, ma'am.
Even if you have to go in for month-wise sales, you have to write, say if all 12 months are there, means you have to write almost 12 functions you are to repeat. Otherwise, you won't get how many like day or month-wise, what is the case, you cannot do that. Meaning to say, you can get the month-wise sales individually, one at a time only you can achieve. Of course, you're going to use your sum, if and all those you're going to do. But with pivot tables, it becomes much easier to summarize a very large data set. It will, within few button clicks, it's going to give me the whole picture. Whatever I want to see, I am intending to see, it is going to summarize its whole data set for me within few button clicks. How to do that? You might tell me something is in front of you. That's okay. I'll delete this. Something there here. Yeah, pivot tables is very much written here. See, summarizing, comparing data, analyzing trend, filtering data. Because in just like our tables, we can apply slicers. Within a pivot table also, you can have slicers. You will have some filters also. You can calculate percentages. And with the help of your pivot table data, you can build in your charts. Like you can insert, you can create charts. Charts you can build with the help of a pivot table or without a pivot table is also possible. Because there are few charts that don't support pivot table. They want charts directly from the data set. But directly from the data set might not be a ready-made data very much. That's going to be very much, I cannot directly ready the data to creating my chart. I have to go through pivot table, but I have to make that chart kind of, I have to make a fool out of it and then showcase. See, I didn't create a pivot table, but I have only I know that the data is from a pivot table, but I'll just showcase it to that particular chart as if the data is not coming from pivot table. Some hide and seek we have to play for it. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, these are two of them. I'll show you what to be done. Okay, good enough. Now I have this data. Okay, I might show you some big data if you want. Wait, give me a moment. Yeah, This data is there. If you want, I can share it in WhatsApp also. You might see there. Will get copied. I don't think it's going to get copied. Okay. See, you have got almost got 999 records. Okay, pretty large one. Now, this is based on a imaginary online store. It's called as, I mean, superstore, and that too, it's been set up in US area only with four regions. You have got your east, west, south, and central. You have got your orders that were raised year data every other date. It has got 4 years of data from 2016 to 19. Okay. Order date is there when the particular product was shipped. That date is your ship date. In which mode it was shipped? Maybe through I will say shipment mode is what, maybe through air or water or something like that. That's what we have been knowing. But here it's something different, like second class, standard class. Anyway, not to bother about that. Which customer has raised the order, name of the customer, which segment that particular home office, I mean the product is all belonging to consumer type, corporate type, or home office and all. And region is your United States. Under the region you have your state, city. Of course, first region will come, then state, and then city. You have your postal code. It's all geographical data. Then coming up to your product details, like product ID, what category that particular product belongs. You've got three categories over here: furniture, office supplies, and technology. You have more than one subcategories under one category. So now overall subcategories, if you ask me, it will be almost around 15 to 17 subcategories will be there. And what's the actual product that was being ordered? But the main highlight which anyone wants to know, rather than all the beating about the bush, is what was the sales that was generated. As simple as that. Maybe and what was the profit that was also that we are really like what to say. Sales profit is what everyone wants to know. Whether at the end of the day, is the business making some profit or are we going on a loss? That's what everyone wants to know. What not? Okay, not what is the product being ordered or from which region and all that will come a bit later. But everyone wants to know what was the sales value. If any region is giving me loss, why it is giving loss and all, we'll go to the next chapter as to digging in more. But this is the data all about. Now in here, maybe the region and all, I would have done a play with it. The southwest has to be south. Okay. When you open at your end, maybe southwest will be there only. Just change it to, southwest to south. Yeah. Do a save. Yeah, now all good. Now, if you had to summarize such a big data, it won't be easier enough for you. Definitely not. If I want to know region wise my sales value, or maybe region wise profit, maybe subcategory wise profit, I want to know. It's in a normal way, it's not going to be an easier way. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but with my pivot tables, definitely yes. I'll go to insert tab. Left hand side is your pivot table. You have in your data range, either a table, the data could be in a normal range of cells or it could be in a table. So either of them is fine. You have a external source, like maybe some other from other source, you have the data from there only. You want to create, using that external data source, you want to create a table, could be one of the option. And yes, with data model is all about say if you have got 2 to 3 tables are given to you, Not that you are given single table, but you are given more than one table to work in. When you are being given more than one table means definitely some relationship, there should be some relation between those tables. I might know by seeing the table, or when I'm given the table, I might be given some sort of dictionary, kind of a data dictionary, an extra sheet along with my tables, as in just describing as to what each of the fields are all about or columns are all about, what is the data type and everything. I could be given in the dictionary format. That data dictionary will also be in an Excel sheet, Excel file only. Not that something like a normal dictionary, the data is not like that. Along with it, seeing the data dictionary, I might very well understand what is the relation, like which columns from the two tables are related, which is the common column. I can make out, but that has to be explicitly told to Excel uh, or Power Query, as in what is the, or even Power Query or Power Pivot, I can say. That's an advanced one, of course, not part of our syllabus. That's why earlier also I suggested if anyone is doing the Power BI course from Besant, definitely going to come across these words. You're going to understand how you can use Power Query, Power Pivot and all, you'll be learning them. So that's what is a data model, nothing but you are explicitly building a relation between 2 to 3 tables, and what the model that you're going to build out of all those tables together. After you join, you are connecting all the tables, those 2 to 3 tables together. You will form some data model. You will form that. If your data is in that format, like if your tables are already connected in a data model, you can create a pivot table from that data model also. That's the third option here. Of course, it's in a grayed out format. Okay, anyway, I'll go with lots of talking done. I'll go for the first option, which is table or range. Okay, here it's not in a table format, so it just tells me in order sheet from A1 to U9995. That's the data for your pivot table. Next comes choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. Do you want in this existing sheet or maybe in a new sheet? When you go in for existing sheet, you have to specify the location from where the pivot table is going to start. If not, of course, I don't see like lots of already some 20 columns are almost near to 20 columns are here. So if I'm going to keep my pivot table onto the right, it's not going to, I mean, it will be better that if I am having it in a separate sheet so that I can really see the data separately and my table separately. You can do that. Now, but when we go for new worksheet, this you don't need to mention the location because there's a default location for pivot tables in a new worksheet. What is that location? Nothing but the new worksheet that's going to get created. A3 cell reference is the starting point. That's by default. Okay. Next, whether you want to analyze multiple tables. Maybe you want to add this data to the data model while creating your pivot table. You may do that. I am not going to do that now because as of now, we are not focusing on the data model. Just gave you a brief as to what is a data model. Now, as I told you, onto the new worksheet, earlier there were only 3. Now onto the new worksheet, you at A3 cell only, your pivot table, the layout, the foundation, the layout, the empty or a blank pivot table has been created. You have to drag in fields to this area so that you can build in the report. See here, to build a report, choose field from the pivot table field list. Field list is this. The field list is nothing but the combination, nothing but the columns from your data set. You have from here now, from A to how many? Till that profit, I guess. So see, 21 columns are there. So all those fields only have been moved into the field list area. This is called a pivot table field list. I just need to drag in to this area to build in my report. Very simple. Okay, I told you region wise sales or maybe subcategory wise sales. How can I do that? You have your last 4 of them, which are all numerical. Na? Now, let me select one. I didn't drag. There's a two ways. Either you select one. If you just check that particular column, it will be automatically added to the appropriate area. In fact, there are four areas over here: rows, columns, values, and filters. I'll come to this. So one way is just checking out that checkbox, like ticking that checkbox. Another is you can actually drag it. When you tick it or even you select that checkbox, it will automatically go to the area by itself. It is kind of auto detect. It will do it. It will do its job on its own. Okay, now I'll come to how we are going to do that. I'll explain these also, but then see how it is. I just change the this one. Now see within few button clicks, maybe like I went to insert pivot table. I did give the options. I said, okay, my empty pivot table was created. I just dragged in two fields or I've added two fields to this pivot table. My pivot table report is very much formed. I can now say, I can now find out or I can very well see what is the sales that was generated region wise. Yes. Maybe there are so many decimals, I can handle them. That's all different part. Say I don't want to see with region, maybe I want to see with respect to my subcategory. Yes. Will this be possible with just the function or with the functional knowledge that you have gained till now? All those functions, whether your aggregate, your subtotal, your text, date, all those functions, do you think you can achieve this within few clicks? But pivot table you can achieve. You can very well find out which, like here, I can find out which was the top subcategory, which was like the maximum sales, like the maximum sales earner or the maximum sales generator subcategory. I can find out. I can come to, okay, top 10 is there. Of course, I won't go over here. Phones is the subcategory which is yielding me the maximum sales. This is maybe I'm telling this is an overall one. I can insert now here, just like tables, when we insert, we get a table design tab, right? Or a table analyze tab. We insert a sparkline, we get a sparkline formatting tab. We insert a slicer, we get that. We get a table, we insert a table, we get a analyzer, like a formatting tab we get. Na? So similar way with pivot table, you get two tabs. One is an analyze tab and there's a design tab. I'll come through each one of these. We'll see that. But here I want to introduce a slicer, which is region. Four regions are there, na? So see, now with respect to each region, I can find out which subcategory was generating the maximum sales. Do you think this would have been possible so easily with the functions that we have learned till now? I'm not degrading them. Every other place you cannot use a pivot table. Every other place you cannot. But yes, pivot table is definitely a powerful tool. You agree?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Here with respect to order date, I can get my sales. But then here the record will be almost, see how many? 721 records are there. Nobody wants to see such a big table. I can very well do a grouping. I can just see year wise. I can very well see my data. I can do that. For year wise, I can see. I can do that. And I can just see what is the slicer. Again, I can apply. My values are going to change. Maybe not with respect to my years. I just want to see with respect to month. Now, along with this slicer, I will add a timeline, order date, Timeline is also a slicer kind, but it is exclusively for your dates. Like there's exclusively for your time. Time as in what? Not hours, minutes I'm talking about. Time means the date column that's very much there onto your data set. See, here now showing with West, these 4 years I can see. If I change South here, it will again change. I can see all of these. Maybe now I can even show something like this. From Jan to Feb, what was the change in sales? Whether it has dropped down or increase or it has risen up, that is shown in terms of percentage. So I can very well make out from Jan to Feb that has been the sales has decreased by minus 54%. We could even, yeah, forget the decimals as of from 54%, I'm going to see. From Feb to March, there has been increase in sales by 200%. So all these analyzations are very much possible with a pivot table. I cannot, of course, we can do with the function knowledge also, but it'll take a lot of time. Like month wise, I have to put all maybe 12 months of data I need to, 12 calculations I need to do to get in this. Nobody wants to do that. Pivot charts or pivot tables are much better options. Okay, lots of talking done. I have shown something to you all. Now these are your field list. Field list as in whatever the data set columns are there, that gets added to your field list. You can very well scroll over here and see which one to add and all. You can do that. Now there are 4 areas you have very much seen here. Now rows and columns. These diagonal ones is rows and columns. What are they? Now rows you're seeing here, say a normal table here. Your this particular pivot table, whatever the row labels, you have moved your months to the months from the order date column to your row. Similarly, I can add, maybe I don't want to see the region here. I'll delete the region here. I can bring in the columns. This is what is row and column, nothing special. Onto a table, if you're seeing, this is nothing but a table, a normal table. Okay, here we are saying it as pivot table, fine. Definitely it is very much different from a normal Excel table that you would all have seen, where you had seen something like a total row, it will just find out the aggregate, or maybe from that total row, which always shows me SUM, I can select different aggregation. I can do all of those things, definitely. But this is something extra from a normal table. It's a pivot table. You are seeing onto the rows, or maybe I can say the row labels are having your month value, and your column labels, that is columns here, are having your region values. There are 4 regions, so we are seeing 4 values here. And at the intersection of your row and column, you are seeing a certain value. Maybe I'll remove the percent from you all, then things will be, I'll go for the normal one. These are for individual values. If I come here, what is this value? 4968. It is for the East region Feb month sales value. Am I right? East region Feb month sales value is 4968. What is this value? Okay, I'll come here. West region August month 25,000 and odd is your sales value. You are getting it? What I'm saying? These are your values, your numerical values that goes into the values area. You're seeing a default summation. By default, the numerical values will always come here. And whenever you're dragging the numerical values here, I see, even if you check this box or you drag it, it will be summarized on its own. Default summarization is definitely SUM. That is the case for any BI tool, not only Excel, any BI tool. You may choose average, minimum, maximum, your count. what to say, your standard deviation variance as per the requirement you can change. Okay, that's the one. You are here seeing sum of sales only. You can change how you will change. I'll show you. Don't worry about them now. But this is how you're going to change. Okay, I did show you your timeline and all. We'll come a bit later to that. I'll remove this clear, then that timeline, that effect will be gone. Okay, now I had moved in. We have got our months onto the rows, region onto the columns, and your sales values onto the values area. All good. What are these filters then? Filters, I did add a region slicer. Na? I could add that region over here itself. Now here it's in a, or not region. Okay, region, maybe I, instead of columns, I can put it onto the filters. I can do that. You're seeing some extra row. Open it. You can select one, say okay, it will get filtered out. If you want multiple selections, just select one. Now all the check boxes will be shown. Maybe central and west you want to show. It will show you multiple items. Earlier it was in the form of a slicer. I could add it in form of a filter. Which one you will prefer, a filter or a slicer? Which one do you think is more interactive and much easier to work with? Filter or a slicer?
Slicer.
Oh, why, ma?
It's handy, ma'am. We can place on our sheet itself.
Okay. You can place onto your sheet. Acha. But here it's also
Okay,
fine. Na?
ma'am.
This is also placed onto my sheet only. Na?
Instead of instead of that filter icon, it is moreover it is visible on our sheet.
Okay. Any more?
I prefer filter, ma'am,
You prefer filter. Acha. Why? Why not slicer?
because it's that's a really very big data, ma'am. This will be easy to view in what, however, we can filter and we can view like it's easier to look at it and understand also, ma'am.
Okay. This filter, I have to expand it. Then only I can see the values, ma. But my slicer is not that. In fact, here, if I have to select a particular value, I have to expand it. I have to select one and then say, okay, almost 3 button clicks I have to do. But what is the case of my slicer? 1 minute. I prefer this. Just 1 button click, my table has been filtered out. I don't want that. Those are 3 button clicks. This is just 1 button click. It's more interactive. To save time. No, nothing related to time, Kripahari. Nothing related to time. It's all based upon the look of my report. Definitely slicers look much more better than my filters. And yes, okay, to save time. Acha, maybe in the terms of the 3 button clicks and 1 button click, yes. It's not based on time, it's actually more of a comfort zone. More of a comfort zone. You just can click one button, job is done. But for filters, I have to click 3 buttons. I don't want that. I am a bit lazy. Think of it like that. I am a bit lazy. I don't want to click on many buttons. Okay, but then these 4 areas are clear. What are the jobs for these 4 areas? Yes, it's clear, or any doubts are there? Shall I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you've got your pivot table analyzed. Let me start off one by one. I guess I'll start with design. It's a bit of interesting option. Okay. For the design tab, I have a data over here. This was the previous data. Anyway, I had shown the insertion of a or creation of a pivot chart with pivot table with this data, not a problem. Same thing only, no difference over here. But then let's just see. Okay, say suppose this is the data I'm being provided. It's from a like textile industry. You have in your almost 2 to 3 brands are there. 4 brands of fabric is there. You have some specifications like parent, color and all. They're not given like green, blue, red and yellow. They have some initials only given. Those people will know what's that initials. Just like water, we can in chemical we can say it as H2O, right? Something like that. For each in chemistry and all, we'll have a small abbreviation for each and every metal and the chemical that we do in, right? So same thing. They have something like called teen also. It's some mixture like parent and color. That combination is what your teen is all about. We have some 5 sizes over here. And inventory is how many pieces. Like brand one fabric, large size 49 pieces are there. Small size none. Medium size 36. XL is your 39 and double XL is your 33. Like that is your inventory. Basically, the count, the units that are available, the pieces are available with them. Now, we are wanting to build something like this. This is what is given to you. Okay, here it has been given like in format, your pivot table is given. But many of the times we won't be given the pivot table. We'll be given a snapshot of the pivot table. We would have to build this. How to build that? Let's see. I have my data here because I built in one here also. No problem. I'll build a new one for you all. Okay, insert pivot table. One more way of creating a pivot table is also there. You just have to select that entire data. You remember the quick analysis. Quick analysis also comes up with this pivot table. Best part about pivot table here, like if it has been a normal table, like you had been a normal range of cells and you go in for this means it will be different. But pivot table, as in you can insert a blank pivot table. If you have selected the data, you're going to see the suggestions also. Like here, it's your row labels, it's showing based on parent, inventory based on parent. Here, it's inventory based on brand type, based on size. Then something based with your parent and color too mixed up, it's just showing up. More you can go in for. If you're going for more, it will give you more of them. You will see to it. Blank pivot table also, you can very much click on it. Okay. Now let's see. I'm being given this now. Let me. Okay. Anyway, it seems like my brand is onto the rows. I can very well make that out. So I'll bring in the brand to the rows. See, either I can click on this or let me drag in with my mouse and drop it over to the rows area. That's also both of the options are very much possible. At times, if everything is stuck up, your screen is also gone means this right click also works. You can choose where you want to add. Like you want it to the row labels, it can do that. So 3 options. Why 3 options I'm telling you is sometimes you might be working with Google Sheets, not with your desktop tool. Google Sheets is an online one. No? So if you have been asked to do that, there few of the options are there. If you really go and see the conditional formatting, it will be very much different to what you're seeing here. Same way, data validation, if you go there and see, it will be much more different. In fact, conditional formatting, one point about Google Sheets, with a desktop tool, you can highlight your duplicate values with the help of conditional formatting. But In Google Sheets, you don't have an explicit option given to you. You have to write a function, like you have to write a rule or a formula. You have to write a formula to highlight your duplicate values. Anybody thought of how to write, what sort of formula or function I can use to really highlight the duplicate values? Can anyone think about it? Okay, think and come back. Okay, this one is also there. How we are going to without that direct option selecting like show high duplicate values. Instead of that, if you have to write a function to really show up or just to find out how many duplicates are there, means how will you do? That's one. There is one is there, and yes, that actor ID, movie ID, that option is still left out. So anyone done with that? Let me know. Okay, here first I moved in the brand. All good. Numerical values are there, which is your inventory. I know it has to go to the uh, so-called my values area only. I'll move that to the values area. Okay. Now coming over here, I see size to the columns because see here, it's to the columns only. These values are there. My teen, that is this teen also. Okay, I've opened it. I shouldn't open that. Teen looks to me as in the columns. Let's see. Anyway, I told a lot of things. Let me see now. What can I do? Okay, table analyze. That field list is gone now. If you want to make that field list appear, just the show option here, you have this field list. Click on it. It's like switch on and off button. So if you click it on, you're going to see, you're going to show the field list is going to be displayed to you. If you click on that button one more time, your field list is going to be gone. Okay. Chalo. I told teen. Teen looks like I can move into the rows. But this is not the one that you're seeing here. Yeah, it looks different, right? Maybe I'll take a print screen, much more better. Then we can work with that. Where is it? Print screen. Amma, yeah, so this is the one, right? But one thing, yeah, this is the one. Okay. No, I am supposed to be here. Yeah. So inventory is all fine. I'm seeing it to the values. My brand, I've moved into the rows. Size was supposed to be moved to the columns, right? So it is now looking somewhat. Maybe I'm approaching to that area. I am seeing it, but still there are here and there. I am bit there. What about this teen over here? Teen is on. It looks like it's into the columns. I did add the. Okay, let me maybe add to the side. If I add it to it, it will be looking like this. But this is not we are seeing here, na? It has to be in like in this something like a row only. It should be. So better that I move into the rows again. My size to this. Does it resemble somewhat near about to the actual pivot table? Somewhat. Not entirely, but somewhat, right? Yes, no? You're following, or just the maybe I am talking so you feel that everything is right? I might be wrong also, no? What do you feel about whatever I have done? Are you all hearing me? Am I on mute? No, I'm not on mute. Come on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, maybe you are seeing it for the first time. You are all getting a bit tensed. Okay, I'll come to it. No issues. Now brand. Okay, I moved into the rows and teens. I'll do a small change. You will see that here. Onto the design, left hand side, you're seeing something like a layout, right? Let me explain that. Let me do the changes. Now it will be exactly the way we are seeing it onto this screenshot. Okay, now here, first thing that you're seeing here is brand name and teen are like side by side, not like one beneath the other. So to change that, I have to go to the report layout. This is whatever is there here, it's a compact form. There are three layout: compact, outline, and tabular. Compact is what you are seeing. It looks like something like a tree structure, one beneath the other. If I bring it to the outline, now see how it, now my brand name and teen, although they are in the same rows area, they are very much adjacent. But still some small extra one option is there. I'll come to that. Don't worry, one by one. What is the third layout? Tabular. Acha, now it looks like what you're seeing here. Yeah. Does it look the same?
Yes, ma'am.
Now thing is, it was the basic pivot table only. Both my brand name and team are very much onto the rows. It looks, when we see the screenshot, it looks like one is onto the columns and another is onto the rows. But in true sense, both of them are in rows only. Only that my report layout has to be changed so that it looks like this. One more time, I'll go for the report layout. See, this one is the compact one, which we had done original one. After we had added it, both my brand name and team to the same area, that is the rows area, it looks like this. My size, very much I have added to my um, columns. Now see, you, by seeing this itself, I should be able to understand which one is onto rows and which one onto the columns. At least the initial step I should be able to understand. Okay, you can see here the values onto the, like values, some values are there onto the column headers, some values are there onto the row headers. So seeing that basic instinct, go with the basic instinct and add into your columns and rows. Okay, next comes whatever the snapshot, based on snapshot, I can make out there is, after everything, only that brand and teen are something that I need to adjust. So this is your compact type of report layout. Even if I click here, there's no change because this is the compact form. When we come to the outline, what happens is teen was, brand and teen was in some sort of a tree structure, one beneath the other. It was like compact, very much stuffed kind of a format. Now, when we go to the second one, outline, it has just both of the, I mean, why it has, there's got separated in different, the layout just changes off. Okay, it looks like they are in different ones, like one is in column and one is in row. It looks like that, but in true sense, they are not. Okay, when your column headers means it will be onto the top. You can just see here. And row headers is very much onto this side. See the alignment, seeing that itself we'll make out. And next one is your tabular format. Now, to be very frank, my outline and tabular, they are one and the same. Only one slight difference is there. In outline, these are your subtotals, okay, like brand, the clubbing. You remember subtotal we had seen in our subtotal feature and subtotal function, na? That outline which we created using a subtotal feature, we'll get something like this only. Your group wise, brand wise, whatever is the subtotal, that's there onto the top in my outline format. And when I'm there in the tabular, that total is added as an extra row here. That is the only difference. One more time, see here, in the outline, it's not in a separate row. Like you're not seeing something like a brand one total. You're not seeing something like that. Moreover, it's onto the top of each of this group. Now here, brand one is a group. To that grouping onto the top, you have your brand one subtotals. Same way onto brand two top, you are going to see the brand two totals or subtotals. But in tabular, it comes as a beneath one more extra row has been there. Now here, this is 5. Yeah, there are also 5. There are also 5 rows only. See here. There also I'm seeing as 5 rows, but it's on the top of the grouping and the tabular is onto the bottom. That's the only difference, no other. Okay. Now I might choose the position of this. I do have an option to not even show our subtotal. All this circus is there. I'll come to that in a minute. But till now, is it all okay? You're following whatever I'm showing you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have something like repeat all item labels and do not repeat. What is that? Now here, if I collapse it, all good, fine. If I expand it, first row, I can see it's for brand one. Rest 3 are blank, right? If I want, I can just fill it up. If I want, I can do that. Now here I can expand each of this clubbing. I'm going to see that. But it looks very clumsy. To be very frank, when you're going for this repeat all item labels, it looks very much clumsy. It's better that I don't go for a repeat. It's quite obvious. These rest of the 3 rows are very much part of my brand one only. It looks very much like that. Okay, those are your first report layout, the 3 types of report layout, and the 2 whether you want to kind of repeat the item labels or you don't want to repeat. This this pivot table with a row and column and values is nothing but a matrix. MATRIX matrix. More colloquial terms. Okay. But don't say it's a matrix everywhere. Okay. Refer to it as a pivot table only. Pivot table has got a good weightage. Maybe you don't realize that now. Later you'll realize. Okay. See here. Subtotals. I have option either not to show the subtotal or I can show them. And if I want to show them, either to the bottom of the group or top of the group. If I say do not show subtotals, subtotals won't be shown up. Those will be hidden off. And if I want to show them, I do have an option whether I want to show it to the bottom of the group or I want to show it to the top of the group. It doesn't show up, maybe because of the report layout, it is not showing. That's the only thing. If I move into the outline report, it will automatically go to the top. So sometimes if you feel any of these options are not working, change the report layout. It is definitely going to work. Okay, so showing or not showing, you have got options for subtotals. Not showing is only one option, there is no other one. But for showing, you either want to show the subtotal onto the top of the group or to the bottom of the group. Similarly, grand total also, I may show or I might not show. When I don't want to show, it is off for all. You may see here. It's not showing for anyone, it's not showing me. But for showing, you have 3 options. You may show it for both rows and columns. You're seeing one to the bottom and one to the side. Okay. Now maybe I want to show only for the rows rows is this. You might think, yeah, it is a row wise, like brand wise. All these together is 637. Maybe I want to show only for columns. It will show me only for columns. So it all narrows down to the requirement that we have been asked to show off. Okay. So your once you build in your pivot table, drag in your like empty pivot table, drag in your necessary fields to the empty layout to build in your pivot table report. And then as per the requirement, you may show the subtotals or you may not show. You may show the grand total or not show. You may decide accordingly. And yes, the report layout you can change. There are three of them. You may choose accordingly. You may repeat or do not repeat. And last of one is your blank line. See, this blank line is nothing about technicality, nothing. Just some extra space, one extra line has been added after every grouping. Okay, just some clean, I can have a clean feel. Rather than if I don't, I mean, even if I don't have it, it's okay. But if you are going to insert, it looks very clean and neat. That's the only thing. So rest three at least, these three, I will say, even here also not no technicality, nothing. These and all no technicals. That's why it's been called as design. You just change the design of your pivot table. No technicality is really being brought into picture. I'm not changing the aggregate. It is still showing me SUM. I'm not changing it to average or maximum or count and all. I'm not showing. I'm just changing the design, the layout of that report. Maybe I want to show my subtotals. I don't want to show my grand total. Maybe I want to insert some blank rows and all. That's all extra beautification only we are adding. Nothing else. Now, what about these row headers, column headers? It's better that you check these options. These are by default. Just that your row headers and column headers will be in bold. Better to be in bold. At least whoever sees it, they can identify what is it that they are seeing. As simple as that. Okay. अरे यार. Ah. What are these banded rows? Like alternate ones in the same color, alternate columns in same color. You may have any of them. Now, as per that, you have your styles. Now, this is currently that blue color one. I can change it to this like a pale baby pink kind of a feel. Grayish. Don't go for baby pink in your professional area. Don't go for that. Have some better options. I'll definitely say that. Those are all light. You may have some other colors also. Okay. Not that it's not a completely baby pink, some sort of pink. Anyway, I won't go to that area. Okay. So styling, style options and your layout. Any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Recommended pivot tables is the one that we have seen through quick analysis. Okay. Field list. This is something you may choose. I mean, many times it might be switched off, it might be switched on. That it's like a toggle button on and off. Plus minus buttons. You have your plus minus buttons here, no? If I switch it off, those won't be shown up. But that doesn't mean if I double click, it will be like collapse. If I again do a double click, it will be not a single, you have to do a double click, only then it will be expanding. But I will suggest please keep them on because maybe I might understand that there is a you can do an expansion and collapse with these brand names over here. Other person who is just viewing the report, he might not have a knowledge of the pivot table. He might not that small bulb might not come to his mind, like idea might not pop up. See, he might not even switch on this field list and see, okay, my brand name teen, maybe there is something more records over here, he might not open it, like expand it. So better to have the plus minus button. At least it does show me, not only me or someone else, that there is a small clubbing or grouping very much done. Field headers, better to keep field headers. Otherwise, how is anyone going to understand just the seeing the values, brand 1, brand 2, brand 3, brand 4? What anyone is going to understand? Unless and until I see there is something like a brand name or like a teen like that, some headers has to be there. Otherwise, how will anyone understand what that column or row is all about? So these three buttons are quite important. Of course, this is something you may forego also, not a big deal. Okay, you might just switch it on to, this is basically for your own working. Okay, not that anyone open is going to do that or not. I did talk about slicer and timeline. Slicer, you can add it for any column from the data set. You can add it for any column. Okay, like here, see, all of them are verily showing up to me. Did our session, like, did we, the network was off for a few seconds? Was it all okay? I heard a sound, that's why I'm asking.
All okay, ma'am.
Okay, so all of this is there. And timeline is exclusively for your dates. If I click on this, there are no dates. That's why it says we cannot create a timeline for this report because it doesn't have a field formatted as date. But here, when I showed you for the sample superstore, I can very well insert a timeline because we got two dates over here. I can introduce any one of them. Okay, both are going to work as slicers. Both are going to, whether it's your slicer or timeline, both are going to slice and dice your data. Only difference is my timeline is exclusively for your dates, and your slicers, it's inclusive of all. Okay, so I've talked about all of this. Design tab is done. Tomorrow I'll show all of these one by one. I'll go. Of course, I have the other data set. Okay, I'll show you that. And we have some good set of questions over there which we'll resolve. We'll get to know more about the values area, grouping and all. We'll get to see one by one. Okay.